Hello and welcome everybody. This is our, I believe, 7th video verdict. This week we are in Jeddah. This is a temporary circuit before they move to the permanent one, I believe, in a couple of years. And we are in our Tier 1 race again this weekend. We're going to observe an incident. I will sort of describe it. And what we'll do is go along with our explanation or conflicting arguments that we had received. And from there provide some explanation to what happened. So here we're looking at an incident between an Alpine and an Aston Martin. The cars are very close, and we're going to sort of jump right into this. Cars are very close, as you can tell. The Aston Martin is just so barely ahead of the Alpine, and I will let the clip play first, and then we'll take a look back. As you see, the Alpine is ahead, but it does swing left. I believe the Aston Martin is ahead, but then swings left, and then there's obviously contact made, and then both of those cars receive some sort of damage. Now, initially, from both sides, with the way you look at it is, if you look at it from the Alpine side, the Alpine's point of view, it looks like he's significantly far ahead. As you can tell, not enough, but it looks like he's far ahead enough to where you don't see a car on the left, and you would not really expect a car to attempt an overtake here or sort of be in a location like this. That being said, there's two prerogatives here. Number one, you still have to leave all the space to a car that's close to significantly ahead, and this is why this video verdict will be a little bit long, because we did have some arguments going back and forth. Not very much arguments, but more discussion. But there's three qualifiers here in not only determining if there was an incident, but the level of fault. And the way we look at it, because there's just so many multiple factors here, you have to look at different things. Number one, was the car significantly ahead? And then I will go ahead through and answer these. Number one, was the car significantly ahead? Number two, could there have been avoiding action from both sides? Could any of these cars have pulled out, even if it sort of left them at a disadvantage? And was there any negligence in either driver? And that does not mean that one driver will not receive a penalty. You have to, even if it's not on purpose, even if it's an unfortunate incident, you do need to be aware and responsible for the body of your car on the track. Number one, was there a driver significantly ahead or not? And I'm just talking about corner incidents, by the way. So on the straights is a different criteria. For corner incidents, was the car significantly ahead? And for a piece of it, it looks like the car is almost significantly ahead. That being said, what is significantly ahead is a little bit important, because significantly ahead would mean this tire and this tire are parallel to each other, or essentially, because corners are weird with their elevation, essentially parallel to each other. This is very close, but the tire is not exactly enough far ahead. In fact, although technically the rule says that means that they're alongside or significantly alongside, there is a braking zone coming up in short order. There's already not enough space to go to the right, and so which maybe on another track, I'd be hard pressed to find, but maybe on another track would be considered significantly alongside, becomes not significantly alongside. Now, number two, the qualifier is, could there have been avoiding action on both sides? Absolutely. The Aston Martin could have a conceded position, which is unfair. The Aston Martin does not deserve to do that, but there is some avoiding action it could have done. You could have also taken the line a little bit earlier, or he could have just stuck to the right. And unfortunately, that's a hard thing to do with the next corner being so close. Be very significantly close to the wall, but there could have been avoiding action on the Aston Martin. That being said, the Alpine has a better chance of avoiding action. This is not really a spot to overtake in the first place, but the Alpine could have just waited for the next straight. Could have slotted behind the Aston Martin. In fact, it could have taken this line, but just stayed behind the Aston Martin and not tried to overtake. So both sides are have some level of, now I'm not going to get ahead to that too much, but both sides could have taken some avoiding action, and the third part is, was there any negligence on each part? Now, initially, if you did not know this track, you see the Aston Martin swing to the left. On most other tracks, it looks like it's trying to put them into the wall. That being said, Saudi Arabia and Jeddah, especially, and Stuart sort of talk about this, is a track where there's a lot of swings with left to right, and so if you're not going to make a corner in this instance, the Alpine's not going to be able to complete the overtake, or at least be truly significantly alongside. It has to expect the Aston Martin will swing at least a little bit, maybe not as much as this, but it will swing at least a little bit to one side to try to be able to make that next turn. In fact, if the Aston Martin sort of gets on its brakes and lets the Alpine by, it puts the McLaren behind in danger as well, because that is a sort of a hard stop. That being said, neither of these two sides had negligible. Neither of these two sides intended for any harm to be done. In fact, the Aston Martin was trying to make the other corner. The Alpine, and I'll play the incident so you don't have to listen to me the whole time. The Alpine saw an overtake, had a pace advantage, and saw that the Aston Martin could give them room to go into the next corner. And maybe not a great decision, but it does not mean it was done with bad intentions. And for better or worse, even if you agree with it or not, that is an influencing force. Now, the big role in this is, and I will actually shut off my display capture because there are some chats in there as well, but I do want to show you guys some of what we looked at was considered significantly alongside. So then you'll see it right now. Okay, there you go. You see it. So Hamilton and Verstappen aside, what is considered to be, significant overlap? And what you'll see is the top left picture is considered to be significant overlap, and the bottom picture to the left is considered basically fully alongside. So these are two instances in which the car on the right has completely the complete right to be there, or both of the cars have some right to be there into the corner. Now, this I would consider a little bit closer, but that being said, that's not the incident we're dealing with. The incident we're dealing with is the top right, where the car is almost parallel, and you can tell the tires are almost exactly to the situation we're looking at, but the tires are not really that parallel. In fact, because the corner is right about to end, you're about to reach the braking zone, you're about to turn, because in Jeddah everything snap. There's no really time to think. This, which might be considered significantly alongside in another world, is not really significantly alongside on this circuit. And I don't mean to say that it's it's track dependent every single time, but here what makes this sort of clear is the fact that yes, this unfortunately just was not significantly alongside, and because the Aston Martin sort of had room to go into the corner, it had to swing left to go to the right again. Unfortunately, it was not the fault of the Aston Martin necessarily, primarily. Now, just to bring it in another illustration, because I really want to hammer down, because I really want to make this an educational sort of thing. I've received a few messages from people as well, but I really do want to make this a little bit of an educational thing as well. These are two diagrams you have. So you see these cars are significantly alongside, in which case, if this is the Aston Martin and this is the Alpine, and even if the Alpine's maybe halfway across, that would be considered the fault of the blue car, obviously, because you're not going to be able to make that corner. This is the Aston Martin here. It's not going to be able to make that corner because the blue car is going to not give it enough space to go into the corner, which is something that could have possibly happened. This may be a little bit better illustration, but switch sides of this. This car will obviously need to make this corner. That's about right here. It needs to swing to the left to make it to the right, and it's just not enough space. It's just they might be close, but there's just not enough space, and there's not enough of a chance to overtake. And I'm trying to wrap this up in 60 minutes or less. And the point, we're trying to make here is obviously not harping on anybody specifically, but as a good educational tool, and as you race in your future races and, gain points and podiums and wins, you have to remember it's a long race, and because you think you were close in the corner is sometimes a good argument in an incident, but what is better than that is to not have an incident at all. You want to be significantly alongside. We want you to race hard. We want you to go for overtakes, but it's a long race, and racecraft and track rating does matter in this league, and I can happily say even both people in this incident have good track reputations, but these things do happen even when you're hard racing. So the official verdict from the stewards was this was a racing incident. Unfortunately, just not unfortunate. We don't like to give penalties to people, but there was just no penalty. There's not enough of a fault on either side to give a penalty, a time penalty. So thank you for joining me for this week's video verdict. I'm sorry it went long, but I really wanted to explain the different parts of this, and I think it's important that I sit here and sort of explain how the significantly alongside into the corner goes, because I think it will shape optimistically good racing into the future. But thank you for catching us this week. We're in Jeddah. We were in Jeddah last week. It is now Saturday. On Tuesday will be our final race of the season, which will be in Abu Dhabi. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Will obviously get a video verdict for that along with the season review as well. And after that, I believe on Thursday, 2 days after, is the Race of Champions, where we will take the top 10 of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 and have them compete alongside each other. Thank you, everybody. This is honestly a pleasure. I really like doing these, and I will hope to catch you next week. Peace.